President Trump is expected to sign executive actions today to enable construction of a wall on the Mexican border. Congress first authorized construction of a physical barrier on the southern border in 2006, but questions remain about funding for this project.
Now, you may recall the president promised as a candidate that Mexico would pay for this wall. The Mexican president will visit with Mr. Trump next week.
Later this week, the president is also expected to restrict the flow of refugees and Muslims coming from certain countries. The White House is still working on the methods and timing. Major Garrett at the White House has covered President Trump since the campaign. Major, good morning. I want to ask you about the effect of these executive actions and orders. I mean, in order to build a wall, you need Congress to actually approve legislation and funding. So what's the meaning?
Exactly. When you talk about presidential action, it is most powerful and most important and most long-lasting when it's done in cooperation and concert with the United States Congress. It becomes a law. Now, executive orders can have wide-ranging impacts. So can executive memoranda. We've seen a little bit of both from this administration so far this week. But an executive memoranda actually is more like a request to the federal bureaucracy to do something. It's like a memo you might get from your boss, or an executive order is that policy manual you're handed when you walk in the door to your first day at the job. Think of it that way. But in all of these things, the most powerful instrument the president has is to work with Congress and sign a law. Remember, on his first week in office, President Obama signed an executive order to close the Guantanamo Bay detention facility. It's still open. Why? Because Congress never agreed.
Good point.
Major, suppose Congress does fund building of some kind of wall at some huge number, whether it's $14 billion or whatever it is. What is the Trump strategy for getting Mexico to pay for it?
Completely unknown. It could be some sort of tax along the border. It could be something from assets taken from somebody who is a captured drug kingpin or something, other asset. Nobody knows. Anything is open. All the president has said is he'll try to negotiate this. The Mexican government has made it clear it's not going to provide any of its funds to pay for a wall, but there could be something in between, like asset seizure from a drug kingpin, like El Chapo or something like that. That's one idea I've heard in a grand speculative way about what might be a potential funding mechanism for at least part of the wall.
All right, Major, the meeting between the two of them next week should be very interesting. Thank you very much.